Hey, okay, cool. Let's see if this works. So I kind of got a new mic setup because I struggle a bit with kind of modulating my voice in terms of like the pitch and the volume when the mic was further away. So now I'm trying to just do like a close-up mic thing, so the audio hopefully sounds a bit better than my previous videos. So yeah, so I haven't done any development of videos in a long time, and I kind of miss it. So we are going to try to do just a little bit of software development. So if you've visited my webpage from one of the previous videos, this probably looks, yeah, you'll recognize it. So what I want to do is I want to kind of make like a little sandbox area and have under the sandbox area just a kind of one or two play um, pages, like just something that I was interested in coding and I wanted to host it somewhere. So this is kind of like the obvious-ish place, I think. But there's probably some other places as well. I think you can host maybe something like GitHub. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. But like I want to try and host it under here. So what we're going to try and do is that we're going to try to do some sort of form builder with Tailwind. One of the reasons, just like I've in day-to-day jobs, I do like a lot of type of CRUD pages with forms, and I kind of try to end up. I find myself repeating myself trying to build forms over and over again. So the idea is I want to build something where I can just kind of define what the or what the fields on the form is, and then the idea is that kind of something like React and Tailwind will then, or React will build it out and Tailwind will just style it for me. So that next time I want to do this, I've kind of got a component I can just drag in and then I can just kind of very quickly sort of, how should I put this, expand out the form or build out the form using just something like JSON notation, tell it these are the form groups and these are the fields, and then ta-da, I get a form. So without further ado, let's try and get started. So let's see. So um, we're going to go under, I think, pages. So what we want to do under pages is actually want to do this. So under pages, we want to create a directory. And I think we're going to call it sandbox, for lack of a better term. And then under sandbox, we want to create a TSX file. So, and then let's see, already exists. No, we don't want to go there. We want to do under, I think this would work. There we go. And then what we want to do is try and just go import React from React, and then const sandbox page equals to that, and then correctly I have to do like a correct element and then do that. Let's see. So for now, just return export default. Okay, let's see. So that works. Okay, so what we want to do now is go to the hero section and then just close that up for now. And then just, let's see. Okay, let's see. We've got a sandbox one, and then we can get into a test. So let's see. Previous one we were at was index.tsx, and it's on the wrong index. Actually, let's just do this. Okay. Okay. So under here, what I want to do is I want to list a set of projects. So it kind of looks the same as the blog, YouTube, and the photography pages, in the sense that it's going to be like a grid of items. So first thing I want to do out is, let's see, go class name, not children, class name. And then on the class name, we want to do like a flex. We want to do flex wrap. And then under there, we want to do div. And then for the divs, we want to make them 1 by 3. Let's make a 1 by 3, and then at this we want to do, let's say, class name BG white rounded shadow, and let's put a test in there, and I think I need to remove that. So do I need another one? Cool. So I need another one. Okay, so let's look at the PP photography index page. So this is kind of what the page looked like. So that's image view. This is the moment what I'm kind of looking for is just what the margins was that I used before. So it was just flex wrap, and then, which isn't very helpful. Let's see. Empty 12. Okay, the styling isn't great there, so let's go back this way. Because I actually probably want to put the for now I just want to make, let's see, three of them and not have them like that. Oh, okay, so that's why. Let's see, so that's going to be, I think, let's make it, I think something like that, or not. Okay, so that looks a bit much, but I think this is kind of what we're looking for. Although I think the MR should be on this one. Okay, so that kind of looks, yeah, okay, so now we want to do the MR thing. Let's see, so the reason why we wrap it like this with the width and then the MR inside is what happens if you put the MR there, then it basically overflows to the right without kind of nicely squashing the stuff or keeping it in line. It basically puts the, maybe show something. So let's see. Yeah, so basically does that. So by putting it inside there, it doesn't do it. Okay, so let's see. I actually only really want one of these at the moment, and what I want to do is I need this to go somewhere. Yeah, okay, so let's see. Make this go to sandbox, and then let's go call it forms, and then I think it's something like that. Let's see, href is not defined yet. Okay, so let's take that out and see what happens. Props href expected string or object in link. Okay, so I think it's the router that's got the 2. Okay, so let's see what happens if we try to avert it. So it tries to take us to forms, which doesn't exist. So What we also want to probably do with this is just give it some padding. And then also give this, let's see, I think maybe font semi-bold. Let's see. Okay, so let's do something called, and what I'm probably going to do is just call this one JS, not TSX. So the reason why I want to call it JS is I just, because it's kind of just trying to build it out with all the type stuff, trying to slang us down. Because the thing is, the type stuff is great long term in the project, but what we want to do now is we just want to play around, figure out what we want to try and do with this, and then once we actually kind of have a solution, then start rebuilding into TypeScript and add the sort of the typing. But for now, just, and this I think is going to be forms. Okay, so let's see if we can make it forms. Okay, cool. So it says now that, and we still have to import React from React, const forms equals, and then export default forms. Now what we need to do is return okay, cool. So now we got the forms. Okay, so let's see. It's telling us it can't do that. Okay, so let's see. Preview R. Okay, so let's. Okay, let's see if it actually still will update it. Okay, cool. So let's get started with this. So what we want to do is we want to define a const form. So what we want to do with this is we want to say, okay, well, we've got an object form. Now let's see. First thing about the form, we want to try and group it. So what we'll probably need to do is something like details, and then we'll probably do maybe another object, and then something like, I don't know, let's do the address maybe, and then have a few address fields in there. Okay, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to put there as objects. So let's maybe do this for now. So let's say name is going to be over here, and then we're going to have it like this, and then we're going to have, let's see, line 1. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to do something where we say, okay, well, let's try to iterate over form, really. Okay, let's see. Go form.map. I'm assuming this thing is going to hate me because I'm trying to iterate over object. Let's see what we get. So let's see if we go div and we say, well, we want to iterate over Yeah. Let's see. Reference. Object is not defined. So maybe the object. Okay, so object map is not. This is going to be the keys that we want to iterate over. And then we want to map the keys. Cannot convert undefined or null to object. So I'm assuming keys is then a property of it, not a. Okay. Oh, that's the problem. I think. Oh, we got. Okay, cool. So, yeah, okay. So now we've got the details. So that's going to be our headings for each form group. Now, what we want to do now is try to say, okay, well, now that we've got this form group, what do we want to do with it? So, first thing that I'm going to do is I need to put back my form. And now what I need to do is I need to say, okay, well, now we've got the form. What do we do now? Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to do probably something like yeah, so although I'm using NeoVim for this, it's not necessarily always my strongest the idea I'm strongest on. I'm probably more used to the JetBrains stuff, but I've been playing around with VS Code as well. And yeah, so the reason why I want to try in Vim is there's some cool stuff in Vim, and I want to kind of get a better grasp of it without sort of the IDE stuff around it, just so I understand Vim a bit better. So what we want to do now is we want to go, okay, well, form e dot, and this is going to be right, so this we can probably map over, and then we're going to say, okay, well, so the idea why we want to double wrap it is that it's essentially like inputs in a group within a group. So the idea is that inputs might be spanned across the page rather than one under the one in beneath the other. And then the idea is the subgroups you can then kind of arrange one beneath the other. But for now, what we want to just do is say, well, let's call this subgroup. What we want to do is now go, okay, so this is going to be our subgroup. And now what we want to do is say, let's just do subgroup and see what we get. Okay, so you wanted to do. Okay, so the reason why is probably because we have to wrap this in another div. And if we try and do this, what do we get? So we can still get the details in the thing. So let's try and do form E. And if we just do subgroups over here. Okay, so let's see then what subgroup is. So let's do wrap this in a div as well. Let's try and do this maybe. Okay, cool. So yeah, that was my mistake. Okay, so maybe I should have used TypeScript. Okay, but anyway, we're on this path now. So let's see. So what we want to do is now again map into the subgroup, and then we say, well, this is going to be the form input, and then the form input. Okay, we just made this thing so I don't do curly brackets. Okay, so and then okay, cool. So this looks a bit better. Okay, so we have the key, we have the subgroup of the subgroups, and let's maybe just try starting this now. Okay, so let's do class name equals, I think what I'm going to try to do is flex. I'm going to make this with 1/3. I have Vims around, and apparently there's a way you can just change both of them at the same time with Vims around. I just never gotten around to learning exactly how. So maybe that is a gap in my knowledge I need to fix, but for now, I don't need that. Okay, so we have that. What we want to try and do maybe is also add BG white, rounded, and shadow. And then also on top of this one is do like an MX8. And then for each one of these form groups or form inputs do like some padding. Okay, let's see what we've got now. So what I want to try and do maybe now is let's do like an input. And over here go all these. And for this, let's go class name, rounded, I think medium, B3, shadow, border gray, let's try 300. Okay. Maybe do padding 2. Okay. Then focus ring, focus outline none. Let's do focus ring indigo. And then also do something like with okay, so first thing that we need is we probably need the name of the input, and then we also need the label of the input. So what we want to try and do up here then is go turn this into an object. So let's see. That is going to be name. That is going to be label. And that's going to be let's see if we can do okay, that didn't work. And I lost my label. Yeah, okay. So what I should probably actually do is like make a note every time that I'm inefficient with Vim. Like if I know there's probably a better way to do it, then go back later on and then just practice that one thing. And this case, one of the first things I picked up that I'm not particularly great at is I don't know exactly how to redo something, so I need to fix that. But for now, what we want to do is we just want to try and figure out how we're going to try to build this out. So, and then also learn how to use surround. Okay, so let's see. Object, yeah. That's we know that's not going to work. So, one of the cool things about Vim, if you want to skip a word ahead or something, I think it's E, and if you want to go back, it's B for going back, and then we also want to probably do that and then that for label, and then this for name. And the idea with this is that I should then now be able to probably want to make that flex as well. Well, not that flex, but we probably don't want to make, I think, this flex. And that we probably also want to do is from top here is add a new one. So we want to do name and we want to do surname, and then for the label we want to say surname. And then you'll see it looks cool. We've got two items there right next to one another, and then also probably just reduce the padding a bit, or at least make the padding on the X and then on the Y make it 2. And then also put some padding on the X over there. Okay, that looks pretty cool, I think. And then probably also do something over here. So okay, let's see. So okay. And then text gray, probably what, 500, maybe 400. Yeah, no, that's too much. No, I think let's make this 600. I don't know, maybe leave it as text. Nah. Gets a bit wrong. Okay, so we got details, address. Sorry. Okay. yeah, so I think that leaves us in a cool place in terms of that. And then the other thing I want to do is so this is the other thing. So we need to now find a place to store the values if we change them. We've kind of been at this for 30 minutes. I think I'll leave it here. And then when we get back, we'll see how we can attach these inputs to values. Bye.